Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Empathy, and this is the first real devlog for my indie game, Vitality. This devlog is going to be the first devlog with progress on the game, and this month I've both improved and fixed the demo, and added more content to the game. Now before we hop into it, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Hey, I did the funny YouTuber thing again. The first thing I did this month was I changed how the spell UI worked in Vitality. In the demo before, there were 4 spell slots. However, the last spell slot is just to show what spell slot is currently being used. I found that this UI confused people, so I just changed it to 3 slots. And the active slot, instead of being its own slot, scales up to show which slot is currently being used. I think that this new system makes the game a lot cleaner and easier to understand. Make sure to leave your opinion on this new UI in the comments. Another new fix I added was patching a bug from the demo, where you could jump right after pausing, even if you were in the air. This was a quick fix, as I realized that I was setting the player's grounded variable to true when you paused. I just removed that line of code and it all worked. The first new addition this month was adding a minimap in Vitality. I realized I could make a minimap by just creating a new camera above the player, and then taking what that camera sees and putting it on an image. Finally, I just put that image as a UI element, and it makes a simple minimap. Finally, for the minimap, I added icons like doors, the player, and enemies, so that you can more easily understand what's going on. Next, I started working on the town in the Plains area. This is what I spent most of my time this month doing. The second demo for my game is going to have the Plains area in it, and part of that is a town full of NPCs and quests to complete. The town is still very early on in its development, so it doesn't even have a name. But once it's complete, I'll give it a name. The first thing I did was building the models of the town, like these walls, paths, houses, and trees. Afterwards, I added wandering NPCs to the town. The only one I'm going to talk about in this video is this guard here, as he gives the player a quest to fetch a new item, a fearless brew from the tavern. Speaking of the tavern, I went to make the shop system for the tavern, but I didn't actually have a currency system in place. So, I decided to introduce coins, which are the currency in my game. I made enemies drop coins so that you have a way to collect them, as well as making the mini-boss drop 5 and the boss drop 10 coins respectively, as an extra bonus. I don't think that's enough coins, but I'll probably balance it correctly this next month. Afterwards, I worked on the shop system itself. I started with the UI for it, so I had a base to work off of. This is the UI that I ended up making, but it's still very much a placeholder. There are the shop options to the left in a list, and the details, like the cost, effect, description, and icon, in the large central section. I described Vitality's main magic system in my first devlog, but I also plan to have a temporary consumable system with 4 types of consumable magic. First, there's potions which provide a specific boost. For example, there's a potion that lowers the cost of only your fire spells. Spellbooks, however, are consumable items that target general stats, such as boosting your movement speed. Brews are only purchasable from taverns and have an advantage and a drawback, like the Fearless Brew mentioned earlier, which doubles your damage that you deal and take. Poultices are the most different of the consumable magic, as you can't actually consume them. Instead, you throw them at enemies to cause negative effects, similar to Minecraft's splash potions. Maybe I shouldn't call it consumable magic then. If you have another idea for a name, be sure to leave it in the comments below. This month I made potions, spellbooks, and brews, as well as a shop to sell them in. Over the course of this month, I received a few comments that I'd like to go over now, just before the end of the video. First of all, Omurice said, "Awesome looking game. Can't wait for the whole game to release." Thanks so much for your kind comment. Next is Andrew Jessup's comment of, "What about the state of matter, Bose-Einstein condensates?" I've decided not to make Bose-Einstein condensates a form in Vitality, as there are 4 elements and 4 forms, so there's an equal amount of each. I also think that Bose-Einstein condensates would be too confusing to explain to the player. Thanks for the idea though. Finally, Omakex said, "Just a suggestion, since your game looks like an old school game, like Zelda from the NES, maybe a top-down camera would work better. Metal Gear Solid's camera style seems like it would fit nicely." I appreciate the feedback, but I don't think I'll implement this, as the game is mostly open world, and the dungeons are just a small part of it. I feel that a top-down camera would be too restricting for the player in the open world sections. Vitality is less like Zelda 1 for the NES and more like Breath of the Wild, so I've added a similar camera to that game. I could also add the top-down camera to just the dungeons, but I feel like that could be too much of a jarring switch for the player. Funnily enough, I got this comment after I had already implemented the minimap, which is top-down. Hey guys, thanks for watching all the way through the video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below. I've also released a new demo with these features, but not the new town, as I'd like to save that until the full Plains area is done, which won't be for quite a while. I'll still be releasing these content updates every month though, and who knows, I might even overhaul the whole magic system before the next devlog. But that's for the next video, and until then, subscribe!